Hello guys, Christian Wedoy here, and today I want to talk to you guys about how I trained myself to hold my breath for a very long time like I did on Britain's Got Talent. I will not be showing any clips from the talent show itself as that is copyrighted, but if you want to see the act, you can see a link in the description below. So let's just get into it. In Britain's Got Talent, I held my breath for about 4.5 minutes, which is not a very long time if you look at my previous acts, which you can find on YouTube. It's actually one of the shortest times I've ever held my breath in a show. In Spain Got Talent last year, I did a similar act where I held my breath for around 8 minutes. It's also a link to that act in the description below. So how do I do these crazy breath holds when most people can only do 1 to 2 minutes? When I started to train to hold my breath in 2013, I could only hold my breath for around 1 minute and 30 seconds. Then me and a friend started to read about free diving and techniques on how to hold your breath longer. None of us had any idea on how to actually hold your breath for a long time at that time. So after a week of learning techniques and trying things out, we managed to do 3 minutes and 30 seconds, both of us. Then after another 3 weeks, we managed to do, I think, around 4 minutes. And then after another month, so 2 months altogether, we managed to do about 5 minutes. If I had known then what I know now about breath hold training, we probably could have done that in around 1 month. Most guys can actually do 5 minutes with 1 month of training, while girls can do around 4:30 with 1 month of training. That is because girls have smaller lungs than guys. So it took me 2 months to get to 5 minutes. Then it took me another 2 months to get to 6 minutes. Training how to hold your breath is a lot like with all other training. In the beginning, you will see a lot of gains, and then it will slow down, and you kind of have to let the gains settle before you improve much more. So it will be slower. And if you have trained a lot before, it's easier to get back to where you were. So I think it took me around 7 months or 8 months to get from 6 minutes to 7 minutes, and then it took me another year to get from 7 to 8 minutes, and then another year again to get from 8 to 9 minutes. And I did not train hard all the time during this period. I was kind of like a bit up and down with the training, but as long as you keep training, you will keep improving. I try to maintain a comfortable breath hold at around 5 to 6 minutes all the time, and then when I have a stunt, I train hard before the stunt and I push my minutes up to 6, 7, 8 minutes, 9 minutes, whatever I need for that stunt. And I usually ask the production of the show or the TV show I'm going to how long I'm allowed to hold my breath, because that affects how long time in advance I will start training for that show. Problem with Britain's Got Talent was I had a cold right before the show, so I was not able to train very hard before it, but it worked out pretty okay, I think. I will also rarely do an escape underwater where they don't let me hold my breath for longer than 4 minutes, because I think it kind of takes away a lot of the quality of the act and what I'm trying to present when I start doing like breath holds, which anyone can do with a week or 2 of training. So if you want to try this out yourself, I will show you the exact techniques that I use. But first, a couple of things, which is very important for your safety and to make this as comfortable as possible for you. Number 1, which is the most important, you should never hold your breath underwater when you are alone. You should always have someone who can save you or rescue you if you get in trouble and pass out. A lot of freedivers have drowned while training alone. Number 2, the need to breathe feeling you get is not coming from the lack of oxygen. That is coming from the buildup of CO2 in your lungs. So even though you feel that you are out of oxygen, you have to breathe right now, that is not the case. Number 3, if you continue to hold your breath after getting the feeling of needing to breathe, you will get something called contractions. That is your abs and your diaphragm trying to contract and forcing you to breathe. This is not dangerous, but it is extremely uncomfortable if you're not used to it. And no matter how much you train, this will always be uncomfortable. 4, do not eat 4 to 6 hours before you try to hold your breath. Eating right before will affect your breath hold a lot. For me, it actually makes a 2 to 3 minute difference if I eat right before. When I do TV shows or like big escapes, I actually don't eat at all that morning. I only have like a small smoothie if the show is very late in the evening. And with the talent shows, you never know when you're on. So you might be on at 1 o'clock or you might be on at 8 in the evening. So I just don't eat that day. Number 5, do not hyperventilate. When you hyperventilate, you make the CO2 leave the body. That means you will not feel the need to breathe before you actually pass out. This is especially important when you're doing stuff underwater. Because if you hyperventilate, then go down underwater, you will pass out before you feel the need to breathe, which is not good. It's also dangerous if you are sitting upright like I'm doing now, because you can fall over and hit your head or whatever. If you're laying down on the ground or on the sofa, it's not dangerous, because as you pass out, you will just start breathing again when you're passed out, and you'll wake up. So to test how long you can hold your breath, you can do this. Lay down on the ground, take a deep breath and try to hold for as long as you can, which will not be very long unless you're trained for this. I assume like 1 to 2 minutes. Now, what I want you to do is lay down on the ground, breathe in for 4 seconds and out for 8 seconds. And I want you to do this for 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, I want you to take a deep breath. So you will be breathing like this. And if you breathe through your nose or your mouth, it doesn't matter. And then after 2 minutes, you do this. And then you try to hold for as long as you can. When you can't hold your breath anymore, I want you to take 2 deep breaths, just to recover. And then I want you to breathe in for 4 seconds, out for 8 seconds for another 2 minutes. And then after 2 minutes, hold your breath like you did first time, and then you repeat this 4 times. At the last round of breathing, I want you to breathe for 3 minutes. And then breathe out all the air like this. And then breathe in as much air as you can. And then you try to hold the breath for as long as you can. Please let me know in the comments if you tried this and how much you improved just by doing this. Now, if you found this interesting and you want to train to get better at holding your breath, you can check out my YouTube channel. There's a lot of videos about this. I will also be putting out a course next month because when the Corona crisis came, I stopped training. I didn't do weights, I didn't do anything, and I also didn't do my breath hold training. So when I tested yesterday, my breath hold was down to about 5 minutes and 10 seconds, which is pretty bad for me. So for the next month, I will be training every day to get my time up again, and I will film this, and then I will make a course out of it so you can do the exact same thing yourself, and I will go into depth about contractions, how to relax, and how you can concentrate, try to relieve your mind of thoughts, because if you think about a lot of stuff, you use a lot of energy. So there's a lot of things going into being able to hold your breath for a very long time. I hope you found this interesting, and if you did so, please subscribe to see more videos like this, and have a nice day.